Today I'm going to be showing you how to access Ancestry and kind of how to use the database itself. So right now we're on New York Public Library's database page, and since I know it's Ancestry, I'll go to A, and then if you just scroll down to find it, it's all in alphabetical order, which makes it very easy to find it. On the next page, and it's right here, Ancestry Library Edition. So you can access this at home by having the little house button next to it. So you will need your New York Public Library card and a PIN number that you set up. So since I already have it input, I'll just hit login, and that'll bring me to the home page here. So when you first start, you can see that there are a bunch of different tabs at the very top that we'll get into. But right on the home page, you can go straight to searching different resources. You can look at the census, the vital records, the military records, and immigration. So that's a good way to kind of gauge any kind of research that you're doing. Do you know someone who was in the military? Then you'll just go straight to the military. If you know that your family immigrated here, you can just search the immigration site. And then if you go down here, there are some quick links for you to browse through. And then also just the census records by the date, And that might be a little tricky. It might just be easier to look at the census records as a whole, but if you do know that it was during this time, you could definitely click on that. So when we go to the top, we'll start with the charts and forms, which might be helpful during your research. So there's the ancestral chart on the side that you can download and kind of fill in the research as you go. A research calendar. There's research extracts, a form that you can also download, a correspondence record, a family group sheet, and a source summary. And just to show you kind of what they look like, they're very in-depth and kind of gives you many different kind of facets that you can research. So even here you can see born, christened, married, died, buried, the cemetery, any other partners that they had, the churches that they were involved, the cause of death, all of that. So it's definitely in depth. And if you go back to the top, the Learning Center, this is where you can kind of get into Ancestry and kind of learn your way through it. So there's just a basic Get Started little tab here, or little box I should say. And then there are some search tips. There's timeline and kind of how to get your own answers. There's the Insider's Guide to the DNA. And then if you're kind of familiar with it already, you might want to hop over here to the orange box for the Beyond the Basics and kind of look at these different links that they have. Then they also have very specific to the certain kind of research databases within this database. So there's the census one that shows you all the different census kind of links that you can browse through. Definitely recommend just looking briefly at all the tips. That's definitely helpful. And then as you can see, there's also the immigration one of like how to find your ancestors through it. And then even finding your ancestors from the UK and Ireland. Then there's military, and the military tips might be very helpful because sometimes they can be a little tricky to find because everything was a little handwritten. And then there's the ethnic one, so you can kind of, if you know specifically where your ancestors are from, you can kind of click on these and help find your way around. And then there's the message boards, which you can either search by the surname or the topic that you're looking for, or you can go down here to the categories and you can see where you might want to look at the message board, or the more popular subjects. So if we go to the United States one, since we're there, we can hit either more special kind of categories or the states categories. You can hit a general kind of message board or an unknown locality kind of board. So if we hit the general one, it'll take us here. And you can see that just normal people, so like you and I who've tried to find our ancestors, have kind of put in, this is looking for biological dad, looking for my biological father again, looking for a Griggs cousin. So people are kind of reaching out to see if other people have found other ways to maybe find the information that they're looking for, or even if they know any information specifically for that family. So if we go back, let's say we wanted just a category. So let's go to the cemetery one. And again, you can choose where, or you can choose more general. So let's say restoration. Let's see what that brings up. So people have some names. Some people are looking to restore a cemetery. So if anyone has information on that, they can go to this little feed here. Let's see, what does this one look like? So she's looking for a person who was remarried, it looks like. So she's hoping anyone has some information that maybe they can clue her in on. And then as you can see, people have responded and kind of helped her figure out her question. So like white pages, maybe she didn't use that yet. Just kind of little tips that people have come across, which can definitely be helpful. So let's go to this search and let's put it to practice here. So I'm going to search just using all categories because I'm not exactly sure where my ancestors might be in all their little databases. Okay, let's start by looking up my uncle. Oops. Make that lowercase. So you can add a city, state, anything that might narrow down your search. But let's just do a basic search for right now. So it looks like I am seeing a marriage license to my aunt here. So they were married around 1980. They were married in Queens, and to my Aunt Alice. So let's click on her link and see. So it looks like it was just her side of the marriage license. So let's go back. What is this one? Oh, that looks correct. He's married to my aunt. He did go to St. John's University, and he is an attorney. So this is my grandpa here. So let's see what comes up when I click on his name. So it looks like they were in Ozone Park, and you can see that my uncle here is also linked. So if I did want to send this particular document to myself or wanted to print it out, they do have buttons up here where you just hit print, or you can send the document to your email address. So if I wanted to show my mom this, who wasn't there when I was doing research, I could definitely look it up that way. So let's go back and let's do a search on myself. And then since I do know where I am, obviously, I can hit that. And then I can also put in my birth year, and that will help narrow down the searches. So it looks like they do have my middle initial here. So this would be my public record, I'm assuming from going to public school, college, anything like that. And all this is correct. But if I did want to go back, it wasn't during 1995 because I was born after. All this stuff seems to not be valid. But again, I didn't immigrate here. I didn't get married. I wasn't in the military. So their records on me might be a little slim, which is why it's better to go farther back into your family tree than just you. So that's just a very basic search on Ancestry. There are many different ways that you can get to your family. Like, again, you could just search right into those little resources there. But I hope you enjoyed my little, I guess, tease of Ancestry and what it kind of can provide to you.